Is open banking data sharing dangerous? Are banks breaching their duty of care to their customers by allowing them to share data with fintechs? This is quite a common argument and quite a common concern that banks are under a huge amount of pressure to keep our data secure. And open banking is allowing them to move that data to a third party that the bank can't control, and they can't ensure that they look after that data responsibly. Does this mean that the bank's actually breaching their duty of care towards the customer? Let's look at this from two perspectives. First off, from an open banking regulation, and secondly, from a GDPR perspective. If we start with the open banking regulation, banks and AISPs, or account information service providers in Europe and the UK, they're actually regulated by the same entities. Now, the process for an AISP to get a license requires them to prove that they are responsible, that they have the right data protection and cybersecurity controls in place, and that they have the capital, the funds, to be able to deliver on that plan. Now, again, what's important here is that the people making that decision are the same regulators who also regulate the banks. So from that perspective, it seems that if the bank regulator was really concerned about data sharing, then they simply wouldn't authorize the AISP. Let's now look from a GDPR perspective. Well, the first and probably the most important point is that AISPs, or open banking data companies, are part of GDPR. They need to abide by the rules, and if they don't abide by the rules, they will suffer the same fines as a bank or just about any other company. So GDPR applies to them in the same way that it does for any holder of data. There's an additional complexity though when we look at GDPR, because in many cases GDPR still requires the initial collector of the data to make sure that a company that is using that data does so in a responsible and secure way. And this comes down to really two key definitions in GDPR: data processing and data controlling. Now, what's really important here is that in the open banking world, AISPs are what's called data controllers. Now, this means that they have explicit consent from customers to handle their data. That means that the bank who initially collected the data doesn't need to worry about what the open banking company does. The customer has given explicit consent. They have transferred that data to the AISP, or open banking fintech, and the bank's responsibility for that data ends at that point. If we bring this together, open banking data companies, or AISPs in Europe and the UK, are heavily regulated. They're regulated by the same regulators who also regulate banks. They abide by GDPR, and importantly, under GDPR, banks do not have a responsibility to ensure that these third parties meet certain levels, because it is what's called a controller to controller relationship, and the customer has given explicit consent to that third party. So a very complicated topic, but a really important topic. And the key answer here is that no, open banking data sharing is not dangerous. It's well regulated, and it's something that will drive innovation and growth. If you like these videos, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel or reach out to me directly. My name's Kieran O'Malley. Thank you very much for watching.